Hello and thanks for staying with us. The management of Nigerian Customs Service has urged stakeholders to continue to implement government policies in other areas of trade in the country. Also on Customs report, more controllers take charge of their new command as approved by the management of Nigerian Customs Service. Plus more reports. I am Igiseme Engineer. Stay tuned. The Acting Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service has urged members of the National Trade Facilitation Committee to continue to support government policies in Nigeria. He made the appeal in Lagos when he was addressing members at the stakeholders meeting retreat in Lagos.
Very full engagement, and we had good agreement on the use of Cotonou port by Nigerian importers. We are not going to say, no, you can't use the port, but we will streamline their use in such a way that none of our countries, neither Benin nor Nigeria, will be changed by the use of their port by Nigerian importers. The most important of this agreement is that importers of second-hand vehicles who still prefer to bring their goods through Cotonou ports will now be paying their customs duty in Cotonou. So if they pay their duties in Cotonou and they choose to drive their vehicle through Shekpeteri or through Kotangura, it is their business. As long as we will have taken full duty collection of those vehicles when they arrive in Cotonou port. Now, in terms of those numbers that my brother from Shippers Council has enumerated, these should be numbers that should keep us thinking. They provide very good food for thought for all of us. And just like the checkpoints and the numbers of checkpoints, it also depends on who is measuring those numbers. And it depends on where are you measuring from. If you talk about those number of hours or those number of days, it all depends whether you are counting from when the vessels come into Nigerian territorial waters, or when they berth, or when the declarations are made by my 1% brother, by customs agents who are struggling with that 1% with us. So what we have done is that we want to have scientific study of this situation. We want to know exactly what we are measuring. And the best people, the best set of people to do this with us would be members of this committee, members of the National Committee on Trade Facilitation, and with whom we are formally proposing the conduct of a time-release study in the first quarter. In the first quarter of 2024. We've had very useful discussions with the World Customs Organization. The WCO would be guiding us towards this. It will involve a lot of sensitization. It will involve capacity building at the very beginning, at the very first stage of this event. So members of the working group that we implement this TRS would be drawn from this committee. And since this committee is already a broad-based committee of all stakeholders that are involved in implementation of trade, there was no better place for us to draw our working group. So there will be consultation, there will be capacity building, and we will talk to all the operators that are involved, and then we will launch the study. We will publish the results. For us in customs, it's not about whether the delay were credited to customs or whether customs is responsible for this. For us and the committee, it's important to know the ailments that we have so that we'll be able to apply the right treatment to the ailments.
According to him, the service has raised the bar with the recent launch of the advanced ruling and recent migration from Fast Track 2.0 to the Authorized Economic Operators System.
So many areas in that particular act that requires attention and full understanding of all of us. And the major issue raised by Madam Adara is about the essence of all our policies, all our procedures, all our structures, all our initiatives speaking to the theme of trade facilitation. And I think this is why we are here. This is why we felt that we needed to bring this committee together to deliberate on those issues that relate to the implementation of the TFA agreement. So on one side, we are doing that, and we are doing it at the level of all the agencies that are in the committee. On the other hand, we are looking at our neighbor, the Republic of Benin, and we felt that we should not just ignore what is happening in that place. The reality of the situation is that many Nigerians are going there, and we don't want to lose sight of that fact. And Nigerians going there have so many implications for us. We are losing revenue, losing jobs, we are losing resources, and smugglers are getting daring. They want to bring in their things as much as possible. So as we are making this effort here in trade facilitation to make our port more competitive, to bring in efficiency, to reduce cost of, we are also looking at that particular side to see how can we ensure that our system do not get shortchanged. How can we ensure that the processes are put in place that will allow you to do things legitimately. So we understand that when you pull one string, it affects some other places. But the collaboration we have with our colleagues, our neighboring countries, provides us the opportunity to look at all the issues holistically and ensure that Nigerian interest remains paramount. And when we are talking about vehicles that have been illegitimately imported into the country, we are looking at a revenue basket of over 500 billion naira. So if this revenue is trapped somewhere and people still continue to do it as a responsive organization, I think we needed to do something. So that explains the initiative that we are pursuing. We know that there could be some other implications, and we will be willing to take on board all the other interests that will be involved. It is still work in progress. We have the next 2-3 months to make progress, do consultations, possibly look at the legal environment, create a legal framework that will allow us to do all those things. In terms of the single window, my colleague has talked about it, but the most important thing about those issue of vehicles is that we want, as much as possible, the tax net. We want to bring all those other Nigerians who may have the willingness to patronize those ports, the opportunity to do it legitimately. Our borders have been closed. There have, in some of those places, and there have been clamor that we should review those policies in the interest of trade facilitation.
So members of the body has this to say.
This side we are talking about the agreement, which we said it contains provisions generally expediting the movement, release and clearance of goods, including goods in transit.
There were a lot of times we were discussing about professionalizing institutions. The customs is truly a professional one. So if in the highlight of the changes to the Act, I have not seen anything regarding making appointment of the top job to be from the service. And I think that should be considered, so that we provide for top job in the customs to come from, when somebody from outside comes, it is passing a wrong signal that the men in the service are not capable of doing the best of things. And we know that is not true. From what we have seen the CGC, what he has achieved in the very few months of his service, we really want clamor that Minister of Justice should take this into account.
The Assistant Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service, formerly Apapa Customs Area Controller, has urged stakeholders operating at the port to continue to pay government duty to the latter. According to the ACG, stakeholders should give support to the new Apapa Customs Area Controller in the country.
His agent are properly advised and enlightened. Our clearance procedure will continue to be seamless, and at the end of the day, we achieve the 48 hours clearance. Remember, manifest is transmitted to customs electronically. Manifest is submitted to customs by the captain of a vessel. So customs have information of all cargo that is being legitimately imported into the country. Then why sometimes the false declaration, under declaration or undervaluation? Let us tell our importers the truth. Let us advise them so that when their cargo arrive within 48 hours or less, they should be able to take delivery, and more space will be provided in the port for more cargo to come in so that we can get high turnover. Our ability to generate and collect high duty depends on the volume of trade we are having in the port. The atmosphere is very calm and secured. We try as much as possible to make the port user-friendly so that when you come, you will return and come back again. For exporters, a lot of incentives have been provided by the federal government. We have the domestic export terminals where your cargo can be examined at wherever destination you choose in the presence of customs and other agencies. The container will be sealed there, and when it comes under escort to the port, no other formality of examination or checking, but just to check and confirm the document, confirm the seal, and off you go on board. Therefore, federal government have done its best to make sure there is ease of doing business. Customs are always on ground 24 hours, and we are scattered or posted around the designated areas to make sure that things are simplified for easy clearance of cargo in or out of the country. I wish the incoming controller Babajide Jayo Oba, that he will improve on any structure he's putting in place. He will further enhance and stabilize the interdepartmental and agency collaboration and relationship we are having. He will also run an open door system, listen to everybody before any action is taken. And I'm sure, without any doubt, that he's going to improve on what I have done, and at the end of the year, the command and the port community will excel.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Customs Area Controller in Apapa Customs Command has said that his command will continue to collect huge revenue for the country and also fight against smuggling of consignment outside the port.
We are meant to facilitate legitimate trade. Trade facilitation is key. And you all agree with me that we cannot do it alone. We need the support of everybody. All the stakeholders must key in to do this, believing that we are serving the same country. When we do it well, the country will be better for it. And I can assure us that our target is to improve on what has been achieved. I know it's not going to be easy, and that's why I started by saying that it is even not meant to be easy. But we'll take up the challenge with the cooperation of each and every one of us. We believe that we will achieve it. So once again, I want to thank all of you for making out your time to be here. It's because of your support for the service as stakeholders, and it's born out of your love for Nigeria, and of course, to also support and encourage us. I want to thank you, and we're not taking this support for granted. We know you've left a lot of things to be here. We also thank the Controller General of Nigerian Customs Service, Bashir Adewale Adeneyi, MFR, for the opportunity to be here. And I want to thank specifically ACG Mohammed for leaving this very big shoe for me, which I know it's only God that can see us through. Amen. I know it's a lot of challenge, but I'm not afraid to take challenges. But that is what keeps you going as a human being. And I want to thank particularly officers of Apapa Port. From all your speeches, I could see you cooperated very well with ACG. And from all your speeches, you also mentioned to give us that cooperation. And I know together we can do it. That's why I say I'm not afraid to take challenges. As a human being, challenges keep you going. We've accepted the challenge. Like the PRO said, it's not going to be easy. But I remember when I was in university in those days, we also heard that it is not meant to be easy. Because when it's too easy, that may not bring out the best in you. So we work as a team. I said it earlier in the morning, my doors will remain open to both officers and our critical stakeholders.
The newly appointed area controller in charge of Personal Command has expressed zero tolerance for corruption in his command. The new area controller told stakeholders that every importers should come forward and pay the dry duty to government, saying that anyone caught will face the law.
In the region, the Nigerian Customs Service being a pivotal player in our nation's economy, with the primary responsibility of facilitating trade, has implemented numerous processes and procedures, including fiscal policy adjustment, rule of origin, and modernization initiative aimed at simplifying trade procedures. We are fully committed to providing top-notch service to all our dry ports and stakeholders within the region. Now let's delve into the critical role of customs in the operation of dry ports. Custom officers are entrusted with the range of responsibility, including processing custom declaration, inspecting goods, assessing custom duties and taxes, collecting custom revenue, enforcing economic laws and regulations, ensuring security. Custom officers also collaborate closely with the stakeholders and sister agencies like the Standard Organization of Nigeria, SON, the NDLEA, and the Contour ID project site in Katsina State for the sensitization program and presentation of operational manual for inland dry ports in Nigeria. This program marks an important milestone in our effort to streamline and enhance trade operations across.
The former controller in charge of Tinkan Customs Command has officially handed over to the new controller in charge of Tinkan Port. The outgoing controller said that stakeholders should continue to support the new controller.
And support both officers and the stakeholders. He will need it very well. And you know, we are already in ember months, so we need that support to be able to beat the revenue targets. And I know for sure it's going to beat my own record. That I know, because I will give him all support. I'm going as controller import and export, which means there's no way we will not relate. So I promise to give you a great support. Just call on me anytime. We can judge you, and I would always be in prayers, making sure that by God's grace, you are great. To the stakeholders that I know you have busy schedules, but you took time. We invited you just some hours back, and you are here to meet with the new area controller. My citation has said it all. When I came here, we tried our best, tried all we could do. We deployed several tools to make sure that revenue is up. And before leaving, we made a seizure that actually the service looked as a commendable seizure. And about 9 officers were given letter of commendations by the CGs. Shows that this command is doing well. So, and it's because of the support, the intelligence you shared with us that has made this our effort to be commendable. So in the coming time, because I would formally hand over to Dera today, he is now the Custom Area Controller, Thinkan Island Port Command.
The new controller has this to say.
I particularly request the cooperation of shipping companies, terminal operators, and other government agencies to clear every impediment to trade that comes from the administration of their business process. I believe that with that, we will take back our job and create opportunities for Nigerians in the maritime industry. Like I said, it is doable. In our effort towards ensuring the actualization of rebranding this command, I will essentially request that we respect our mandates. Everybody here, freight forwarders, terminal operators, shipping companies, other government agencies have their various mandates. We will not tolerate undue interference in any other person's mandate. Incursions by other people in trade matters has to stop. Much is given, much is expected. If we are going to equity, we must also go with clean hands. Controller they have talked about opening doors. Yes, I am going to run an open door policy, but I'm also going to close some doors. I will close doors against illegal importation. I will close doors against smuggling, and definitely I will close doors against shortchanging the federal government of its revenue. Let me state that I'm not one of those that blame people for inefficiency. Nobody is going to be blamed for the rot in the maritime industry, but everybody here is expected to contribute to finding solutions to that rot.
The newly appointed area controller in charge of KLT Command in Lagos has continued to praise the stakeholders operating at the port. She was speaking when she officially took over from the former controller in charge of the command, saying that with her coming in as area controller, the country and also the command will continue to generate more revenue for the country and fight against smugglers who want to smuggle us outside the country.
I'm here to deploy what I call emotional intelligence, which has 3 components: vis-a-vis, teamwork, interpersonal relationship, and knowledge of your environment. I would also like to use the SWOT analysis, which is strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. Strength. My strength is that I am a mother. Therefore, I can accommodate all and work effectively. Do not take my femininity for weakness, because in the service, we have only officers and men. Opportunity. Our opportunity is our drive to meet and surpass our revenue target, suppress smuggling in all forms, and facilitate legitimate trade, that is, service delivery. Threat. I'm ready to deploy intelligence risk management tools from Customs Intelligence Unit, DSS, Police, Standard Organization of Nigeria, NDLEA, and other relevant security and regulatory agencies.
Just before the end of this week edition of the program, Customs Report, we brought you a report where goods worth billions of naira was accepted by some area controllers in the country, alongside the taking over of some command by some newly controller appointed by the CG of Nigerian Customs Service. For me, Igeseme Itinye, thanks for watching.